All right, good morning, everybody. Like I said, today we're going to do a little bit of a rundown on the Works with Nest ecosystem here. As you can see, I have everything in front of me. So we'll just dive right into it here. I know you guys have been working on a long weekend here, so I just want to see if you guys would bear with me here. Now, as you can see here, there's a good handful of manufacturers that will work with Nest. The main ecosystem, of course, is the most important part, so we'll go over that to begin with here. But before we get started here, of course, we always want to follow national, state, and local code. If no code exists, then we're going to default, of course, to the NEC code. License and insurance is always important, so make sure that that's all taken care of. And then last but not least, the Worthington University classes are a complement but not a replacement for manufacturer training. So we never want to trump the manufacturers. Of course, that's always fundamental. And of course, the installation requirements are always a given here. And of course, we don't want to make any product modifications or alterations. So now, the overview of today, as you can see here, works with Nest. Just a couple of the brands that we carry between SkyBell, Logitech Harmony Remote, Philip Hue Lighting, Caseta Wireless, August Locks, and whatnot, and then of course Rachio. So we'll go over a little bit of each. If anybody has any questions while we're going here, please feel free to send that into the comment box here, and we'll answer that as we go here. Now, to begin with, of course, is the Nest ecosystem. That's going to be the Nest Learning Thermostat, the Nest Protect Smoke and CO Alarm, the Nest Camera, and then, of course, the Works with Nest ecosystem separately as well. The app, of course, is a pretty powerful tool that we'll go over as well. Now, first and foremost is the third generation, and now that we're on third generation, Learning Thermostat. As you can see in the camera here, the Nest thermostat is a very nice form factor. It's the smartest thermostat on the market, I'm going to say. I think that's a safe bet. They are learning thermostats, so basically what it's going to do is when you get it, they basically tell you to adjust it as it is. You don't set any schedules at first. It basically learns your schedule. So say I get done at 1 on Tuesdays, so every Tuesday at 1, it's going to eventually pick up that I'm leaving work early on Tuesdays. It will adjust that schedule. So you don't actually have to set your own schedule unless you want to, but it is smart enough to set your own schedule, which is really nice and saves you a little bit of time there. Now, another cool feature of the Learning Thermostat is the auto away. And basically what the auto away is going to do is it's going to set your schedule to an away mode based on the occupancy of the room. And what it does is it uses a passive infrared motion sensor to detect if anybody is home, and if nobody's home, then they set it to the low point for the day. Once it actually senses motion again, it will set it back into home mode again. So it's very, very smart, very intuitive, and very, very helpful for people who are trying to save some money on energy costs. Now, just to break down the thermostat a little bit, basically here's the main interface. The words on top there are the status, so it would say cooling or heating. And another cool feature is called airwave. And what airwave is basically once the fans are, once the system is done cooling, the fans will actually continue to blow all the cool air out of the ductwork. So you're not actually just sitting there letting it waste away in the ductwork and warming up. So that's a pretty cool little feature. Of course, it's a high resolution display, which is very, very nice. Definitely wakes you up in the morning. The Nest Leaf is a cool one too. Basically, if you're within a few degrees of your set point and you're running efficiently, it will show the green leaf down there, which is pretty neat. And then, of course, the current temperature and the target temperature is going to be there as well. Now, to dig a little bit more, if we do click, the thermostat itself is a button. So if you wanted to click on it, here, I'll show you even in the video here. If you wanted to click on it, what you do is you press the whole face right down. So if you want to get into the menu mode, you would press down on that. And here on the PowerPoint is where I'm going to show you what's on that menu. Basically on the top is a done button. So that would bring you back to the main page where the thermostat options are. If we work around to the right here, heating and cooling modes is next. So you can go ahead and change between the heating and cooling mode there. Coming around to the right again is the fan control. Of course, we can do that for turn it on immediately, turn on for a few minutes in every hour, or for a certain time period every day, which is pretty nice. You can actually schedule your fan in advance. And then, of course, your energy history. That's going to be available, which is a pretty nifty little tool here as well. That would be on the bottom right. That's going to show you basically, when your set points changed, whether it went into away or home mode and things like that. So it's real nice to keep track of all of that. And then working our way down to the bottom left here is schedule. Like I said, you can create your own schedule, and once it learns your schedule, it will automatically input that into this section here. But if you did want to edit that, you can do it at that point. And then on the left side here is settings. Of course, pretty generic settings, degrees and things like that. So that's a good thing there. And then on the top left here, we have what mode it is in. We can put it into home or away mode and kind of do it that way. Now to dig a little bit deeper into this menu here in the middle, you can see it's going to give you your current weather conditions, which is nice. Of course, rain, sunshine, whatever you got there. On the top right there is the outdoor temperature, so we want to make sure that that's known that that's the outdoor temperature. The indoor temperature is actually on the bottom left, as you can see. And then, of course, the location information, which is going to give you the day and the time, not the date, but the day of the week. And then, of course, the humidity is going to be the indoor humidity, so it won't give you the actual outdoor humidity at that point. Now, the reason we always push the thermostats is because they are money savers. The number one bearing energy, device on your house is going to be your heating and cooling. This is going to save you 12% on heating and 15% on cooling, which is astounding. It's a lot more than most of the 7-day programmable thermostats on the market, and that's looking at about $130 to $145 of annual savings. So basically 1 year, and your thermostat's pretty much near paying for itself, which is pretty nice. Now installation of it, the easy installation, it really is easy. Basically gives you the level right on there, so you don't have to worry about that. It will come with its own screws to anchor that down. You won't need any anchors because of the special screws. It is compatible with about 95% of the 24-volt systems that we have here. The circular connectors, as you can see on the PowerPoint and in the camera, makes it very, very easy to hook up. All you really have to do is push some of these buttons. Of course, you push the button down, push the wire in, release the button, it'll hold the wire in, which is really, really nice. That's what they're referring to there with their updated connectors. And it really is simple. Of course, you have to check the wires on your HVAC system, make sure that you have the right wires. But you will need a common, of course, because this isn't a battery-operated device. But we can look into that here in a little while. Let's see here. All right, now like I said, everything's included in the box. You're even going to get a screwdriver, so you won't even need a drill. Let's see, you want to get crazy, but like I said, everything's in the box, so you're not going to need anything additional to actually install the thermostat. Again, it's compatible with 95% of the 24-volt systems. Here's all the wiring breakdowns. We don't have to get too far into that, but it does have many options between humidifier, dehumidifier, of course the variable speed fans, and a big thing is also lately emergency heat, a big deal with some of our customers as well. So now, of course, the Nest app is going to run everything. They do have a new app that's been updated recently, and that's the 5.0. It's very, very new, bold design, which is pretty nice. All your devices at a glance, which is pretty neat. It actually gives you a snapshot of the camera's last event, if it's not giving the live feed right there. And then, of course, your Nest Protects and your Nest thermostats as well will be on the same interface. Another thing to add about the Nest app is that you can do family accounts. And what that does is basically gives your family different logins, so you don't have to use all the same login. That would be, it gets a little crazy when we're sharing logins and whatnot. Especially as a company, we like to have separate logins. So a family account would be the way to go if you have multiple people in your family who are using between the camera and then the thermostat and everything like that. So now the Nest ecosystem, of course, is not just a thermostat. It is the Protect and the Nest Cam, which we're going to go into here. First and foremost is the Nest Protect. This little thing has a lot of sensors on it, and that doesn't stop with smoke and carbon monoxide. But it does have a smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. As you can see here, pretty decent size. Not too obtrusive to your house. Actually, has a little bit of a nicer look than the regular thermostats. And as you can see, it does talk to you, which is pretty nice. If you do have a fire event or something like that, it will actually talk with you. It doesn't just beep like a regular fire alarm, although it does have that feature as well. But it is pretty neat little sensor. Like I said, it isn't just smoke and carbon monoxide. It does have a lot more sensors, and that includes a motion sensor, or I should say occupancy sensor. That's going to help with going into away mode and things like that, which I'll go over in a minute. But what I wanted to talk about was the split spectrum sensors. Basically what that is a light that's trying to catch different particles floating through it. But the difference with this smoke and CO detector is that it has two of them. And the reason for that is because if mom and dad are downstairs cooking in the kitchen and they burn some toast, then the smoke detector will know the difference between that and a full-on fire, which is nice. And what you can do is, once you actually sense smoke like that, it will either be hushed through the app, because it will tell you, there is smoke in the kitchen, but not enough to be a fire. So you can hush it from the app, or what you can do is go up to the Nest Protect itself, and you can wave your hand in front of it, kind of like you're blowing the smoke away, and it will hush the alarm, which is pretty neat. I like that feature a lot. That's one of my favorites. Now, just like most standard smoke alarms and whatnot today, it does have a 10-year span on the CO sensor, which is pretty nice. And the last but not least, I think one of my favorite features here is if you have it in a dark hallway at night and you're walking to the bathroom or whatever, it does have a backlight, as you can see, around the Nest logo that has a color ring with an LED light. And when you walk under it, it will light dim light so that you can actually see where you're going. Now, to talk about Nest with the thermostat. Basically, like I mentioned before, it does have an occupancy sensor, so it will improve the Nest away mode, auto away, I should say. So basically, if your Nest thermostat is in the living room and you're spending all your time upstairs, what you can do is have that activate the home mode, or stay into home mode. It won't activate away mode because it will be picking up your occupancy. And then, of course, to build onto that, if the Nest Protect does sense smoke or carbon monoxide, of course, it will show you not only on the app, of course, but also on the thermostat itself. As you can see, it'll give you the big red ring. It'll turn your furnace and your fan off so that it's not blowing fresh air into the fire or moving circulating that smoke around and things like that. Now, the last piece of the Nest product line, of course, anyway, is the Nest Cam, formerly known as Drop Cam. The Nest Cam has a 60-second setup. I did literally time it. It was just under 60 seconds. You plug it into your computer with a USB port. We would then ask you for your login information for the Nest app, and then at that point, you're pretty much rolling. The camera is a 1080p HD video. It does do 24-hour live streaming. Of course, it has the option for web recording and whatnot. It's a very versatile stand, and there are two different detection modes, which is sound and motion. You can have both or one or either or enabled, and it's a pretty nifty little tool to add to your ecosystem here. Now, as you can see here, there's drop cases that are weatherproof available. The drop cases are going to be P66 certified for outdoor waterproof testing. That's going to be, of course, more than enough to mount your cameras outside here. So as long as it's within Wi-Fi range and has some power, then you have a good view of your property from there. Now, of course, combining the devices together, what we can do is include the Nest Cam to automatically turn on when the thermostat goes into away mode. So we're always recording when we're not home. Of course, we don't need to be recording the whole time that we're home. So that's always nice to do that. And then, of course, if you wanted to chime in and look at your pets, we can just do a live view, things like that. Now, to bring all three together, of course, if the Nest Protect senses smoke or CO, then the thermostat will turn off the HVAC system. It's going to give you that red ring on there. and then of course the Nest Cam will automatically start recording just in case anything serious happens, or if anything serious did happen to cause the situation. All right, one of our customers, Sal, he actually had a question: will the Nest Protect determine carbon or smoke? And to answer that, I believe it is yes. It would tell the difference between the two, so that you know what kind of alarm you will be going into. Of course, on the Nest app, it will tell you, and I believe when it comes up on the actual Nest thermostat as well, it would tell you either or on that. I believe it's the same sound, Sal. It would be a full verbal description, like Gene said here. It basically is going to tell you everything that's going on and where, which is pretty nice. All right, there was a question: how does the night vision work on the camera? I believe it is and Jocelyn, correct me if I am wrong, it is an IR LED camera, so it would have a pretty decent low light or no light picture. Yep. And for those who didn't notice in the chat box there, it is full 1080p. All right, now before we get too far into it, I didn't note yet, there are two different versions of the Nest Protect. There's a hardwired and there is a wireless. So just keep in mind that when you're wiring up the house. And just to confirm, they are all interconnected. So if they're all on the same app, they're all going to pretty much do a one sound, all sound in case of an emergency there at that point. All right, so if there aren't any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and move on with the Works with Nest stuff. The first and foremost is the Philips Hue. For those who don't know, the Philips Hue are color-changing bulbs for the most part. They have regular bulbs, but the cool selling point and the stuff that works with the Nest stuff is the Philips Hue. And I think this is like number one on the things that I show my friends. They always ask the field that I'm in, and I say home automation. And the first thing that comes to mind is color-changing lights. It's just a big wow factor there. So to have them in your home is even cooler. But to stay on topic here, the bulbs are of course going to fit into regular old fittings, whether you have a table lamp or in ceiling or pendant lights or anything like that. The cool part about it is if you have that link to your Nest app, the Philips Hue lights will flash red if the Nest Protect senses smoke. You can also turn the Nest Cam on, of course, at that point. And then the Philips Hue will turn the Nest thermostat will turn the lights off when it goes into away mode, which is pretty neat. So everything's kind of working together, saving you energy. You won't have to worry about if you left your lights on, because once the Nest thermostat goes into away mode, then it'll just be done automatically. It's a pretty nice little system here. Now next is the SkyBell HD video doorbell intercom here. It's a pretty neat little device. Basically, you go up to somebody's door. You're going to see this little module here on the left. That's going to be wired into a standard doorbell outlet. That's going to be basically the doorbell for your house. You're going to go ahead and click on that, and that's going to call your phone with a 1080p HD camera. Of course, full color and night vision. And what happens is it'll call your phone. You can pick it up, talk to the person at your front door, and at that point, you can even unlock locks and things like that. But with the Nest ecosystem, what it'll do is the Nest Cam will start streaming when you get a button pressed there. So if you have an entryway camera or something like that, you can do that just in case it's not somebody that you wanted to be there. And then the SkyBell will automatically turn on when the Nest Cam senses motion, which is pretty neat. The SkyBell itself is technically an IP camera, so you can call that whenever you want and look at the front door. You can even talk through the front door, which is pretty neat. It's kind of a little selling point there. Now moving on, the next one would be Lutron Caseta Pro Bridge, which is the main lighting system that we would probably recommend for this whole system. Sorry, excuse me. There are plug-in modules and in-wall light switches that you can use with this system. It is all wireless, so all you would need, of course, is the line voltage to the light locations and, of course, regular outlets to plug the plug-in modules. And then, of course, battery-operated shades, which we also carry, which is pretty neat to think about, because basically when your Caseta bridge turns on, all your lights, you can turn them all on when the Nest senses smoke, so you can get out of your house, and see where you're going. The Nest will also open up all of your shades in the system here. Of course, in case of a fire, you need to jump out the window or anything like that. You will have the shades open. Of course, if it's daytime, then you'll be able to be able to see a little bit better. And then the bridge will also bring control of the Nest thermostat into the Lutron Caseta app, which is pretty nice. So if you are just doing the Lutron Caseta bridge with the Nest app, with the Nest cam, then everything's going to work pretty well together, and you won't even have to use a separate app, which is pretty nice. The next one is Harmony Remote. Of course, that's a pretty big name. Everybody's probably got a universal remote in their home at this point, and Harmony is just one of the leaders in that field there. Of course, they will work with any IR devices. You can learn those codes in. With an additional piece, you can do Z-Wave and Zigbee devices, which is pretty neat. Now, the integration with the Nest products is on a level of basically you would have to have the Harmony hub-based remote, and then you can control your Nest thermostat through that interface. That will give you app support as well, but the touchscreen controllers are pretty neat to work with. You will be able to view and adjust your thermostat directly from the touchscreen on the controller, which is pretty neat. It's a very, very nice controller. You can do the hard button ones, but like I said, it's just a little bit too in depth at that point. And then the thermostats itself and the Harmony Elite especially will work with the auto away function, so the thermostat knows when you're home. If you pick up your remote, of course, the remote itself knows when you're actually home or away. It does have an accelerometer built into that, so at that point, then it will put your Nest into the mode that it needs to be. Next is August, and the August product line that we're working with here is going to be the smart doorbell and the lock. As you can see here in front of me, the doorbell is going to be right here, and the lock is going to be over here. Just give a little bit of a twist there. And that's a standalone ecosystem if you wanted it to be, but to add it to the Nest ecosystem is a lot more. Of course, we went over our smart doorbell. Locks are pretty straightforward as well. So to combine the August lock and the August doorbell with the Nest cam, we can do live recordings of guests entering your house when the door is unlocked, or if they ring the doorbell. You can also use the smart lock to set your Nest thermostat to home or away. So whether you're leaving for work and you lock your lock on the way out, it would then put the Nest thermostat into away mode. And when you show up at home and your lock unlocks, then you're going to go ahead and set that thermostat into a home mode. So you're not touching the thermostat at all, which is pretty nice. Now the last on this list here is Ratio. We don't have a demo here, but and there's really no way to demo that. But what Ratio is a sprinkler controller that's going to give you zoned water outputs to water your front, side, back lawn, all of that. Pretty neat because it does bring in local weather reports and decides whether it should water or not. And I know that there's a lot of these going out to California during that drought, which is pretty cool. But basically, we tie this into the Nest, and you get your Ratio water savings in your Nest home report, which is a monthly thing. They send you out emails and let you know how energy efficient your home's going to be. And to add this to that report would be a pretty big deal. And then, of course, if your Nest detects smoke, then the Ratio will cycle through the sprinkling zones for protection, of course. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start with basically Nest Pro products are available. There are some benefits of doing the Nest Pro stuff. What some of the benefits are here, we can go ahead and dive right into it. But basically, you are required to do the certification in order to go ahead and be a Nest Pro installer. And I don't even want to say it's a certification because basically Nest is pretty cool about it. They just want to make sure that we're not reselling for a different price or anything like that. They want to make sure that you really are a professional installer. So what we want to do is go to nest.pro.com. We're going to create a login, and basically you're just accepting your terms and agreements and whatnot. And they basically send you an email here shortly thereafter to let you know that you've become a Nest Pro installer. At that point, then all we would need is your Pro number or just a screenshot of your your confirmation, and then we can get you going with the dealer pricing and whatnot. But some benefits are the packaging is different, so all the packages that are coming through us are going to say Nest Pro. It's not going to have retail, full retail packaging, which is nice. The homeowners will know that you're working with a professional installer, which is always a good deal. Once you're a Pro installer, the 2-year warranty, which is standard, will become a 5-year warranty. So because you're a certified installer and things like that, they're going to give you a little cut on the warranty. They will extend that to 5 years, which is a pretty good deal. Leads will come through the Pro Finder, which is pretty cool. If somebody is interested in getting a Nest thermostat on a homeowner level and they don't want to install their own, then what they do is they'll go to the Nest website, search in their area for Nest and Nest certified installers. They'll find the names of of course you guys and forward that over to the homeowner, which is pretty cool. Of course, the Nest Pro website is going to give you the latest tools to market your Nest, the Nest to your customer. So as you can see here, you're going to get literature, pre-designed ads if you wanted to do that, any product images you would want for your website, as well as videos. And they will be very, very helpful in getting that going here for you. Nest will support their pros 24/7, 365 days a year, which is pretty nice. You can do that on their website, phone number, email, any way you want to get a hold of them. They will help you out with that. And just to wrap that up, of course, the warranty is a big deal. So it's going to be from 2-year to 3-year. The Nest Pro hotline, of course, is there 24/7, 365. They will have marketing material and support. They will do training in person, web, personal, in the training portal online, as well as us, of course. We would always support their products as well. And then, of course, they have the monthly newsletter, so we know the latest news and updates on, I would assume, firmware and things like that. And then, of course, the Nest website is a very, very helpful tool for the Nest pros to get that going. Of course, you can get your units from Worthington. There's a little bit of dealer pricing there, but basically, any pro dealer who has the certification will get that for $209.99. The Nest Protect, I believe I put the battery-operated one on there, is $89.99. I think the wired version is a couple dollars more, so it's not terrible. The Nest Cam, $179.99. For any kind of IP camera, we're looking at least $200, so that's a really, really good deal. And then, of course, the P66 weather case, $39.99 there. So, I mean, guys, that's pretty much it. Everything, will work together pretty well. Basically, the way that they do it is you will go into the other apps, of course, the third-party apps. You would kind of do like a linked account so that basically the automation that I mentioned before just automatically goes once you put that login information in. So it's pretty nice. Are there any questions that I think it's pretty well covered, but I am definitely more than welcome to answer any questions you guys have today. I have a question here. Does the Nest camera support PoE? Unfortunately, it does not. It comes with its own power supply that would have, of course, a USB. I believe there's a mini USB on the back of the camera, and then, the USB on the other side to plug it in. The wire's about, I'd say 6 to 8 feet. Field of vision for the camera. I'd have to check out the specs, but it is pretty wide. I'm going to say, oh, there we go. Gene help me out there. Is about 130 degrees, which is pretty astounding for as small as the camera is. Now, plans for integrating more security, like door sensors or motions and things like that. I don't think that we're really looking into that. Really, this is just going to be automation for the, centered around the HVAC system. We're not going towards the security side of things, but weirder things have happened, of course, and we'll definitely look into what's on the horizon. Kent said he has a question there. Is the Nest program, in the Nest program, this is integration with other manufacturers, is it expanding? And to answer that question, yes, that's an ever-growing list of manufacturers. There's a lot more than what I've listed. This is just the stuff that we've worked with, as you can see. But there you go, Kent. 16,000 companies have applied, so they're definitely looking to grow their ecosystem there. All right, Joe. There was a question: will the If This Then That app work with the Nest and other products? And to answer that question, yes, there is a Nest tile for the If This Then That app. And of course, a few other of the manufacturers that I spoke about today will also be on that list. And for those who didn't notice, there is a Works with Nest website. If you go to the Nest website at nest.com, it looks like the top center, you click on Works with Nest. That's going to provide the full list of the current Works with Nest integrations. And of course, just have to tune back in for more to come on that one. All right, well, if there aren't any more questions, again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Worthington University here. I'd like to thank Jocelyn and Jean for tuning in here and helping us out with answering some questions and correcting some of my mistakes here. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 800-282-8864. You can send an email to sales@worthdist.com.